Let me tell you something wild. First day at Elite Dragon Dojo, my sister and I weren't even through the door before some kid with a black belt and a superiority complex tried to make us feel like we didn't belong. Derek Walsh, 19, full of swagger, blocks our path and tosses out this line about how this isn't the place for your fighting traditions, making air quotes like he's in on some private joke. Tyler Brooks, his sidekick, laughs, flashing his black belt like it's a VIP badge. I just stared at them and thought, wow, here we go. New school, same old garbage. The dojo looked like something out of a samurai movie. Imported mats, mirrors everywhere, old photos of masters watching from the walls. The kind of place you pay a fortune just to say you're a part of. But if you listen close, you can hear all the exclusivity hiding behind tradition. See, my sister Zara and I had just signed up, first class, new faces, and already these guys wanted to establish who was in charge. Derek's all, you girls don't understand real discipline. Maybe look for something more suited to your style. Boxing, maybe, or street fighting? You know what I mean? Like he's an expert on where people like us belong. The whole place goes silent, but nobody steps in. Parents whisper, students pretend to practice, and Sensei Mitchell, the instructor, just stands back and lets it happen. That's when I remembered what Dad said last week. You're going to encounter resistance. You always do. I thought he was being dramatic. Turns out, he was right on the money. I told Derek. Discipline is something we know well. In a voice so calm it shut Tyler up for a second. That's the thing. Bullies expect you to shrink or snap. They never know what to do with quiet confidence. Derek tried to push us around, asking how long we'd been training. Acting like 7 years gave him the right to talk down to us. Zara asked him casually how many fights he'd won lately, just to see if he'd take the bait. He started stumbling over his answers, and I saw it. That moment where he realized, maybe, just maybe, these beginners weren't what he thought. We got shunted to the back, stuck with basic drills while Derek and Tyler led warm-ups. Every move we made was picked apart, corrected with hands that lingered too long or shoved a little too hard, and all the while, little digs about natural limitations echoed off the mirrors. 20 minutes of that, and not one adult stepped in. It was open season and everyone just watched. And then, out of nowhere, Derek decides it's time for a self-defense demonstration. The whole class is supposed to watch while he shows us how it's done. Tyler grabs at me, and I just smiled. Not the fake smile of someone afraid, but the kind of smile that says, you're about to regret this. That night, back at our apartment, Dad's making tea and listening as Zara and I compare bruises. He's a retired colonel, 25 years of hand-to-hand combat under his belt, and he's been training us since we could walk. Krav Maga, Muay Thai, BJJ, you name it. He asked how long we could keep the act going. 2, maybe 3 weeks, I said, flexing my hands. Derek and Tyler were getting reckless, and we were almost ready. See, it wasn't just about us. There'd been whispers, black families pulling their kids from the dojo after similar incidents, but no one could ever prove anything. Dad heard about it through military buddies and decided to investigate. So we enrolled, hid tiny recorders in our headbands, button cameras on our uniforms, and started collecting evidence. Every shove, every insult, every accidental elbow. We let them think they were breaking us, but really, we were building a case. 3rd week in, Derek thinks he's finally going to put us in our place. Special demonstration today, he announces, eyes locked on us. No beginner rules, just free combat. 30 students circle up, half of them eager for a show. He starts with his favorite move, a high kick, textbook, flashy, but way too slow. I slipped right past it and hit him with a Muay Thai combo so fast he doubled over before he even registered the pain. The room froze. Tyler panicked, charged at Zara, and she flipped him onto the mat like he was weightless. Kids started filming, jaws dropped. For the first time, we weren't just the twins at the back. We were the storm. Derek gasped, tried to crawl away, but I locked his arm and pressed his face to the mat. 3 weeks talking about respect, and you give up the first time someone pushes back? I whispered, just loud enough for everyone to hear. Sensei Mitchell came running, shouting about rules, but Zara just looked up at him and asked, "What rules?" "The ones you ignored when it was us being targeted." I pulled out my phone, still holding Derek down, and started a live stream. "Sensei, want to explain why you let your students make racist jokes and harass new kids?" His face went white. Zara flashed her own recording device. 3 weeks of evidence, Sensei. Every insult, every shove. Already sent to our lawyer and to Dad. That's when the panic set in. Derek started begging. "Please, my scholarship, my parents." Tyler was shaking. Mitchell threatened to call the cops, but I just smiled and told him to go ahead. I'd love to tell them why 2 minors had to collect evidence because the adults wouldn't do their jobs. Zara let Tyler go. I stood up, finally releasing Derek, who just curled up and sobbed. "By the way, our dad's Colonel Robert Johnson. Maybe you've heard of him." Sensei Mitchell's jaw hit the floor. Dad's reputation for rooting out institutional abuse is legendary, and suddenly, everyone in the room realized who they'd really been messing with. That we walked out of that dojo like nothing happened, leaving behind a pile of broken egos and a staff in panic mode. But you want to know the real justice? 6 months later, Zara and I stood in front of a packed lecture hall at State U, running an anti-bullying seminar for PE teachers. The dojo had closed for good after the investigation. Our recordings were the nail in the coffin. 17 families joined the lawsuit. Mitchell lost his license, and Derek's video went viral. Bye-bye, Duke Scholarship. He's working at his dad's store now. Tyler left town. Can't even step on a mat without panicking. Zara and I started our own gym, Dignity Combat Arts. We teach real self-defense, sure, but also how to document discrimination, how to fight smart, and how to make sure no kid has to go through what we did. Our model became the standard for investigating institutional bullying. Students all over the state using their phones to collect evidence, not just trading fists for fists. When people ask us how we stayed calm for those 3 weeks, I tell them it's simple. We knew every second, every insult, was just another brick in the wall we were building against them. The best revenge isn't just putting bullies in their place. It's changing the game so nobody else gets hurt. Now, even some of those old students come up to us and apologize for staying silent. And they're out there fighting for justice in their own schools. That, if you ask me, true strength isn't in who throws the hardest punch. It's in who turns humiliation into hope, pain into power, and makes sure the next generation won't have to fight the same battles alone. That's what we did. That's what we'll keep doing. So, what do you think? Is the real enemy the bullies or the system that lets them run wild? Drop your thoughts, tell your story, because this is how change really starts.